the theme here, these are game props, not player props, not the novelty entertainment ones. We'll get to those later on in the week. But I think the theme for me is going to be the conservative coaching style on both sides. And we saw this during the regular season. Maybe the opportunities were not there. But if you look at the very bottom of 2-point conversion attempts per team per game, like these two are at the very bottom. And, when you get to Super Bowl, people are going to bet 2-point conversion to be successful at plus 270 because they like that. People are going to bet the octopus at 10-1, like that's going to happen. Well, you need a 2-point conversion for that. I'm going to say no on a 2-point conversion attempt. I don't think the Niners attempted one all season long. That is minus 140. Everybody's going to bet the yes at plus money. I'm going to say no with these two teams going at it. 2-point conversion attempt. We will not see one.
Sticking with my avowed love of the unders for this game, I'm going to just go with a simple first half under because it's still even money at BetMGM. Under 22.5 for the first half. I think especially early in this game. Like this will be a game where you will look up and the first quarter may be over and you're going to go, what the hell have I just watched? I saw a couple Doritos commercials. I think maybe there may have been like a Clydesdale or something thrown in. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I've seen like 4 first downs and nothing has happened yet. So I'll take a first half under of 22.5.
Total successful field goal distance. I'm going over 115.5 yards. Combine the distance of all the field goals over 115.5. I think we're going to get at least 3, and that should get us to the number. It wouldn't surprise me if it's even 4 or more. So going with that one, and then one other kicking one. No, I'm going to go team to record the most interceptions. Give me the Kansas City pass defense. It's a coin toss. I was surprised by that because, Purdy is a bigger favorite to throw an interception, but KC and San Francisco both minus 110 for first interception or most interceptions. I'll do recording the most interceptions. Give me Kansas City. Make it make sense. That's been my thing the whole time. I don't understand this. These teams looking for a coach. This guy's here. He exceeds expectations constantly. He has around a 500 record when he's expected to lose games straight up. He gets his players to play. They buy into what he's selling. I don't believe that they upgraded it at head coach at Tennessee. We'll find out. The record will be the record, but maybe this isn't outlandish because I don't understand it.
But by this logic, Dan Campbell probably doesn't have a job. Who are some other, does Antonio Pierce have a job? Like big dudes who played back in the day who are physically imposing don't get jobs. Maybe Vrabel is all of that, but is also just difficult to deal with. And
yes,
maybe he uses that to his advantage sometimes. And people are like, yeah, I've heard he just kind of struts around Tennessee like he owns a place. And when people disagree, he gets all physically intimidating. Like I'd buy that as sort of the weird reason why Vrabel doesn't have a job.
Yeah. Isn't that exactly what happened in Tennessee? I mean, that was the book.
Sounds like it.
He would not adjust, he would not adapt, and he was a pain in the ass to work with. So both things can be true for sure.
Right.
And we're not saying everybody. We're talking about the few jobs that were still open. Like Chargers, you're going to Harbaugh,
right?
Making a move like that. And also there's the element of we're playing Super Bowl here, and we got 2 offensive masterminds going at it. Like there's still a lot of teams that they're not going to follow up a defensive coach with a defensive coach. For the most part, people are looking for that offensive mind because if you do hit on a terrific play caller, you're not going to lose that guy like the Lions will eventually. We thought it was going to be next year, but it's probably going to be in a couple years from now. But they're going to have to find a replacement for Ben Johnson at some point. But yeah, it's also, more defensive guys were hired this year, but teams are still seeing if they could find the offensive guy first.
Yeah, so took Kelsey over 69.5 yards. I believe that's 70.5, 71 everywhere. As you guys have known or heard probably, Travis Kelsey, 70-plus receiving yards in 12 straight playoff games. Dude's an absolute monster. And he's coming off, terrific performances. Also has the most receiving yards in Super Bowl history at 133. I did play Christian McCaffrey for MVP at plus 475. Terrell Davis, 1999, was the last running back to win the award. I feel like CMC might be the most complete running back in the Super Bowl we've had since then. And we know that he can run the ball, throw the ball, and catch the ball too. So I'm expecting some trick plays from the Niners. And if I'm going on another Niners play, I've been kind of stuck on Deebo Samuel. And I would love to hear your opinions. I know Erin's a huge prop person, so I wanted to hear her. So you guys had to ask her for me. But Deebo Samuel's at 16.5 rushing yards. Does that not intrigue you just because that number is so high? You expect him now to get 2, 3, or 4 carries to hit that number. So that's one that I'm lining up to. I might play some alt lines on Deebo Samuel's rushing props since we're getting 16.5, 25.5, 40 plus. Those would be some pretty good plus money plays.
There was a month in this world when Paul was all up in Mina Kimes' mentions.
It was
trying to
a
pump up-
day. It was one
all
tweet.
up in. All up in is a
all
crazy way to
up
say that
in.
too.
Wow.
Wait.
So,
I was not aware of this. Back it up and
I'll
start
try to
from
find it.
scratch
So
on
ba-
Fung.
I started
So-
making a case for Hufanga, Troy
On the show.
Polamalu case, which Chris can appreciate.
I can.
Hufanga for Defensive Player of the Year.
DPOY.
With the Perk Plus thing going on
Sure,
and all that.
yeah.
And then Mina, being a smart football mind, put a tweet out there about some of his stats or something like that. And I just,
I mean,
in
I
an
have it
effort
already.
to
If you
boost the
if you'd like
case-
a dramatic reading of this, I have it in front of me.
Okay.
I
in
keep
an
this
effort
on
to
deck
boost
for
the
when it
case.
comes up.
At Mina
so
Kimes.
Mina Kimes on the 3rd of October, 2022. Hufanga, already one of the most electric players in the NFL. Stock up emoji. Paul Aspen on the same day. No, one day later. Excuse me.
Not a quote tweet, just to her.
Not a quote tweet, straight up in the replies. Been looking for his DPOY odds for a few weeks. Still mostly unlisted, but a 75-1 and a 28-1 exclamation point now out there. 0 likes, 0 replies, 0 retweets.
But the impressions,
There's one.
though.
How
There's
many?
one bookmark though, and it belongs to Mr. J. Kassan. One bookmark, so he can
Yeah.
reference
Oh, it doesn't
this
even need to be a
whenever he
bookmark.
wants.
This is just straight up a screenshot. It's great.
Screenshot.
There's no doubt. Yeah, it's with the thousands of memes that he has. Just it's funny because the whole
Hundreds.
idea, Chris, was he's like, I'm gonna get this thing rolling by replying to Mina Kimes, and the internet's gonna go
Get a
wild.
little traction. A little traction. You gotta take some shots. Sometimes
do.
you swing,
Took a
miss, and
swing.
fall on your face.
Yep.
I think we have started to reach a little bit of separation season where I do feel like Purdue and UConn, like those two teams look a little bit different than the rest. And I know I've talked a lot about, oh, this is really wide open and college basketball. There's so many teams that could win it. I don't know anymore. I feel like it's Purdue and it's UConn, and then there's some separation after that. And that's
Really?
something that I keep thinking a lot about.
Huh.
W-
So
I,
you-
I think it's
so,
interesting
like-
too.
Like the tiers are different, maybe. Like maybe we should chill out on. Okay, it's just so wide open that you think maybe there's that separation between tier 1 and like everybody else. Is that what you're saying?
I do. That's kind of where I'm at. It feels like there's
Okay.
a tier 1A, and that's UConn and Purdue. And then it's like kind of starting to separate things a little bit where, there are some holes in Houston. There are some holes in Arizona, especially with their 3-point defense. Like we've seen North Carolina be a little bit vulnerable. We know Kentucky's vulnerable. Tennessee has nights where they just don't make shots. And it feels like UConn and Purdue are teams where it's hard to find those flaws. Like especially on a consistent night in, night out basis, it feels hard to find like, hey, what do you guys suck at? Like they feel like they're pretty
Right.
darn good at a lot of things.
And not to take anything away from the rest of Purdue's roster, but obviously built around Edey, it feels like UConn has shown us over the last month and a half that this is a team, like a total team effort, Isaac. And that's what has me believing in UConn maybe just a little bit more when we talk about those two teams in the top upper tier Just what do you expect from each of these two teams? What should we watch for in, I guess, 60 seconds or less between Purdue and UConn coming down the stretch here?
No, I think it's a great point. I think UConn really complements each other super well. Their point guard play, Tristan Newton has been excellent this year. Cam Spencer comes in and plays well. You know, the thing is UConn just still hasn't really gotten to play everybody together. It feels like every single time that they get their full roster going, someone else gets hurt. Alex Caravan right now is banged up with an ankle injury. But the shooting, the defense, the size, the playmaking, you know, if Steph Castle continues to emerge for UConn, that's the guy. And then for Purdue, the X factor for me continues to be Braden Smith. He has to continue to be aggressive. I wrote about it yesterday. His numbers on pull-up jumpers, absolutely electric. And if he's playing like one of the best point guards in all of the Big Ten, that's why Purdue's different. It's not just because Edey's better. It's because Braden Smith is an absolute dude. Purdue is not just a one-man show. This is a two-man show right now.